Hello folks and welcome to the Cheeky Channel. Today we're going to be this is a brief video, and we're going to be taking a look at the Windrose teaser early access release. And we're going to break it down, maybe try to pause it and dive into it and see what we got here. And I'm very excited about this game. I'm looking forward to it, so let's see what it looks like here.
It's a damn tough life, full of toil and strife, where women undergo. We don't give a damn when the gale is done, how hard the winds did blow. Come on! How soft the breeze of the tropical seas, now the ice is far astern, and them native maids in them island glades are awaiting our return. Even down our big black eyes look out, hoping some fine day to see our baggy sails running for the gales, rolling down to old Maui, rolling down to old Maui. We're homeward bound from the Arctic ground, rolling down to old Maui.
That looks incredible. I can't wait. I do want to take a pause here. All right, this ship. This ship right here that we see, this is not the ship that's in the demo. It doesn't look like it, because the ship in the demo has a third sail up here on the top. So this is different, I think. Yeah, and it also does not have a sail here on the forward mast, whatever you'd call it. The spick or spit or whatever. The spiff, whatever.
It's a damn tough.
Also, in this shot right here, if you notice in the demo, we've got the small 12-pounder cannons. What we're looking at right here, these are not 12-pounders. These look like 18, 20-pounders maybe. So those are bigger guns there. And the ship that this is firing on, you might notice something about it. It's a bigger ship. It has gun ports on a second level. So some ships are going to have multiple levels of gun ports, which is amazing, which means this is a big ship that this guy's fighting. And the ship that he is in right here, it really looks like the what is it, the catch that we have in the demo that has 12-pounders on it. So that tells me you can swap out these guns for larger caliber guns as time goes on. Now, I don't know, but I think he's boarding here. Yeah, he's fighting aboard a ship, and it looks like he's boarding. And if you notice as well, these bells are pretty pronounced on the ship. And that tells me very possibly that the ship itself is going to be a fast travel point. Like the bell, you can go from the island to the ship. Perhaps. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. I know the ship currently has a bell on it, and it's not a fast travel. But if you look at how this bell is shaped on this ship, and if we go back a little bit, like right here. I know this is a different ship, but and it looks like it's got 12-pounders on the deck here. But if you look at this bell here, this looks very different from what we have on our ship. So it's possible that could be a fast travel point, because both of these bells, and on top of that, these bells are different in style to the ship. So maybe they're not, but that's a possibility. That's pretty cool. Now, was he in? What was he in when he got hit there? At the very end, right before we cut. Look at this. This is on the ship. This is definitely the back of the ship, and this, or the back of the ship, the stern, and this is definitely some kind of captain's quarters like area. You can see there's a desk here. There's some candles and maps and lanterns and some windows. Definitely a captain's cabin like place. And I had complained about that with the catch. I was like, "Where's the captain? You know, where does he live? You know, where does he have his maps and make his plans and all that?" So, all right, now here, obviously the ship is sinking, and the sails are on fire. I think this is actual gameplay. I don't think this is a cinematic, although it could be a cinematic. But whether it is a cinematic or it's not, if you look at the decoration on this ship that is sinking, it looks very primitive, very like native decoration on it. So that means maybe they've been to Ash Island or around it too long or something. And the crew have decided to decorate the ship to look like a tribal, primitive, scary ship, something like that. Also here, that I can see, the log that he's sitting on is the model they use for the sawhorses, which is interesting. So you'll be able to sit on that. Also, here, if we look at the rope and cloth cargo packaging here, there's another one on top of it that's a quarter. So that tells me that there's going to be possibly there's going to be quarter storage containers, which is pretty cool, if that's what that ends up being. Here, big one here. Look at this ship back here in the background. There's two key things about this image. One, the ship here in the background, this looks like a proper, like a Blackbeard ship. I think was it the Mary Rose or something? The ship that actually existed in history. It kind of looks like that. So that's for one. That's interesting. Now, that's a wreck that we're looking at there, I think, because there's only one mast and there's no sails. So I imagine that's a wreck. Right next to it, this is the other thing. Right next to it is another ship that is a wreck. But look how the top of it is completely and totally, right here, completely and totally blown off. And here. Thirdly, there's a color difference between these ships. And its windows and port windows and stern windows here have a white border, unlike the ship behind it. That tells me that painting and decorating your ship is going to be a thing. It might be limited, who knows, but that's a real possibility. And here we have a better look at it. And I was correct. This is a beautiful ship too, by the way. Actually, it kind of looks more like maybe a little bit more like the Pearl, a little bit, in the back here. Only it doesn't have a wraparound roof. But you can see it does have gun ports. I see 2 gun ports here, and I don't know if there's another one back here. But this ship has been split in half, so it is a wreck. I was correct in that assumption. And the crabs and zombies look pretty good. I don't know who Woody is over here, but yeah. And the ship does have a reddish hue to it as well, so which is a little bit like the Red Arrow from World of Sea Battles. which is interesting. Okay, now this looks like she is an NPC, because her name isn't Silly. And here we get a better look of the ship here in the background, and she's firing along with you, which is cool, so the NPCs can help you fight. Hopefully they don't just get in your way and cause problems. Hopefully they can actually really help you fight. I love the Zweihander sword. That's my favorite sword. And the fact that they have this giant Zweihander in the game is just amazing. I can't wait for that. Getting heavily armored up with a Zweihander and, you know, switching between that and a pistol or a rifle and just boarding another ship and going to town. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's awesome. The pirates don't look any different, though. Okay. Ship design. Blackbeard's Catch. Okay. So that's probably the shipwreck we were just looking at previously. You know, it's only an 8-gun vessel, so maybe it wasn't. I don't know. So the big question doesn't really say anything about decorating it or going with color or anything like that. So that's interesting. Now, I don't know if that's Blackbeard's Catch there, but it looks very interesting. Look at the cargo hanging off the sides here. That's interesting. I see the tribal, decoration that's on it. I won't be doing that if that's an option. Look how big these guns are. Those are like the 20 or 18 pounders that I think we saw towards the beginning. And this actually looks like the ship that was either in the cinematic or in the beginning of the trailer that was sinking and on fire as well. There's a lot of stuff sitting there. This bird cage thing here for parrots, maybe that's new. I haven't seen that before. There's a possibility that we might be able to capture maybe some animals in this. Maybe, who knows? Let's see, what else can we see here? The sword looks fantastic. I'm looking for anything that looks different. This lamp here is different. And looky here. We've got this post here with some rope. So, some different railing for the docks and stuff. That's good. The back of this ship is very interesting. It looks like there's buzzards, like carved buzzards sitting on the back with a light on their head, that's kind of interesting. But yeah, okay. The map doesn't show me too much. There's a mace there. That's nice. And look here. We can see iron or perhaps steel axe and pickaxe. So that's cool. And they're showing you the cannons here. Don't know what poundage that is. Rifle looks the same. Okay. And whatever elixir this might be, I don't know. All right, so the decoration on the front of the ship there. Don't particularly care for that very much, but all right. I usually like to have naked ladies on the front of my ship, typically. Now here's a better look at the ship, and you can see the carvings and everything. I'm still seeing no windows in the back. So honestly, this ship looks just like the Ketch that we have, aside from some decoration. And there's some more of the decoration. Okay, and he named it and decorated it. I guess you can decorate it how you want to. I don't know why you'd put the cargo off to the sides of the ship like that, though. That doesn't make any sense to me. But these decorated parts here are interesting. There's seems to be a pirate skull theme that's obviously going on here, which a lot of people are gonna like. Not really myself particularly, but whatever. Now, at first, when I first saw this trailer, I thought that he was firing those guns on the front, but I realize now, well, I don't think he is, because I think someone else is controlling the ship and he's just standing there. I think that's what's going on. Okay, now we get a look at the ship that they're fighting. It looks like it has the same kinds of decorations in front, but it has red sails, and the ship itself seems to be painted red, which tells me that's Blackbeard's guys. Also, its guns look like 12-pounders. So it's basically identical, but a smaller guns than this one. I see a box of boar's heads here, and some more decoration and different boxes and things. Those shelves behind her tells me that those are probably going to look like that automatically. You don't actually put things in the shelf, I wouldn't think. I could be wrong, but I don't know. There's some other new bottles here in a case. Seems to be a weapons table, or a workbench right there, over here, and this what would you call this? Fire pit is new and different. The rope back here is different, and actually so is this rope too. The rope looks better than it does in the demo, because down here is where the old style rope can be seen. This is new, so that looks good. Here's something, too. If you look at the building that they're walking into, or this guy's walking up to her in, notice the windows. Notice the architecture here. Notice the floor, the rug. All these things are new. I've not seen them before. So that's pretty cool. And look here at the map. You can see that he's inside a building. Now, this building is probably a pre-made building. This is not something that a player's probably made. He's probably in Tortuga, more than likely, is where this is at. And that's supposedly the main hub to do all of your recruiting and trade and things like that. There's also a castle logo there, too. That's kind of cool. All right. Let's see. Blackbeard Lieutenant. Okay. You want to sell those to her. Okay, got it. People of Tortuga. Yep, I was right about that. Oh, wait. What was that? That was giving us different names of places. Hold on. Okay. Buccaneers. Interesting. Tortuga. Okay. Port Royal. Did you see that? It was Port Royal. So these are going to be different areas or different areas. Yeah, these are going to be different areas, I guess, and they specialize maybe in different things, each one of these areas. Okay. Now, here, I'm glad I paused it here. You can see this pirate sailor guy, bad guy, he threw a bomb, and you can see the bomb. At first, in the trailer, when I first saw it, I thought that maybe this was a mortar. But it looks like it's an actual, like, he's throwing a bomb at him. Ooh, and it, yeah. This is a different kind of undead. I have not seen this kind before. And he grabs you and bites you, apparently. I don't know what this is. I don't know what I'm looking. I mean, obviously this is on the Ash Island or whatever. Yeah, Plague Warrior and Plague Crusher. I can't really make out what the Crusher is. It looks like maybe like a weird crab of some kind. He's being chased by a Plague Hunter. Interesting. The Warrior is attacking him. I love his armor that he's wearing. I don't know about the mask. He's got the lantern on his belt, which is cool. Yeah, I don't know what's being thrown at him here and exploding. I don't know what that was. I have no idea. Here's our classic stone floor that we are so familiar with. What's also interesting, if you notice, as he's placing down these blocks, there's these little rectangles here on two sides. And I'm wondering if that is an indicator of the snapping or spacing of some kind. Something to that effect. I don't know. And look at this gun he's got on his back. It's a shotgun, essentially. So they are going to be in the game. Somebody was asking me about that the other day. It's like, is this game going to have, you know, the blunderbuss, the shotguns, whatever they were called? And it looks like it will. All right. All of this looks very familiar to me. Yeah. Now that's new. That ridge top block. I have not seen that before. And look at the squares next to it. That's interesting. I wonder what that's about. Huh. So interesting. The columns. Love the columns. That looks great. They're Greek-style columns there. Absolutely. Okay. Let's go back for a second. Now, we see a interesting kind of stylistic lantern here, which is cool. And look how he did this. He put a column here to make these windows. And there seems to be already these square columns that going up and down. That tells me that's a completely different wall. That's a completely different stone wall piece that he's got there. That's what that tells me. And this beam that he's creating here, I don't know if it's far away from him or if it's closer to the camera or if it's actually that size. It's that thick of a side beam. I don't know. I can't tell. It goes by so quickly. It's hard to really tell. Hold on. Yeah, it looks like it's a different than what we've had with that beam. Because you can see here how the wood stops and starts. It's kind of a slanted cut here. The current beams and small sticks that we have to do that with don't look like that. So either it's an improvement on the existing or it is a completely different block. Now here he's doing something interesting too. These are also different. These are not the same blocks that we have. Aha! Here it is right up here. You can see it. This is that slant that we just saw. And there it's being used. So he's got a thicker variant for the wood there, which is fantastic. Also, something else to note, that this particular floor that he's standing on is also different. It kind of looks like the floor for or the pier or the docks pieces, but if you look at these pieces here, they have a half log underneath them supporting them. That's new. That's different. I have not seen that before. Another thing that is very different here as well is if you look off in the distance at this house, There's proper support here. These support structures for the columns. That's new. We see the roping, and we also see some wooden railing up here as well. There's a potted plant that's there. That looks interesting. There's also these bundles of sticks up here. That's new. And this thatch-like looking roof is also very different. I have not seen any Spanish tile roof yet, nor have I seen any wooden shingle roofs yet. Down below, we see there is this new railing too. It looks like a bamboo and vine weave railing. So an island railing. There's also, I do see a palisade wall of some kind up here as well. The island itself looks sizable. There's something on fire up here. I think that might be a large fire pit of some kind or something. And what's also interesting is that we see these the wooden beams that we have now for the docks, and they seem to be connected to another one. And it looks like that might be one block, maybe, which would make sense if they had something like that. I can't really tell what this is up here. Maybe a lamp of some kind or something. I really can't tell a lot of this stuff. Here's a better look at those windows, I think, from this side. You can see the windows here. They're definitely different. Look like maybe made from island uneven wood or poorly shaped wood, things like that. Kind of like the structure that he's building here. All right, we'll move on. Okay. I was talking to Onyx about this too. Were they going to have defense guns for, your settlements? Well, there's a defense gun right here. And you see cannonballs, and you see a gun and a chair where he gets bored, and he fires the gun off for no reason. You can also see there's 3 more guns down here on this corner here, right behind this cooking pot, which that looks the same. We got some chains for something up here with a winch of some kind. There's looks like a ram's head decoration, so there's going to be rams and I guess goats, some of the other animals and things that we're going to see. We got more chains and a hanging candle essentially there. So yeah, the one thing again, and here he's putting up some kind of maybe a flagpole or something on top of this column, but the one thing that I have not yet seen is, again, proper roofs with wooden shingles or Spanish tile. Okay. Yeah, see thatch. He's got thatch there. But again, they're not going to show everything off in the teaser either. And look, his bonfire is up there like a lighthouse, kind of like what I've done with my lighthouse, which is interesting. Also, look at these these stone supports here for the top. I love that. That excites me to see that. So yeah, and that looks like that's not a 12-pounder gun. That might be like a 6. Was it 6 or 12 pounder? 12 pounders. That might be like a 14 maybe, or a mid-range gun. And where is it facing? That's the question. Why is it facing that way? This is definitely a flagpole. Okay. All right. I see some new supports as well. I see, these rounded blocks too, obviously, are new. I haven't seen those yet. Some of the scaffolding here is interesting. That's different. And the palisade down here at the bottom, and as you can see, there's a gun right there. So you definitely are going to want guns on your settlements, and they probably will come under attack, I would imagine. Which that's a lot of fun. And your stuff can get blown up pretty easily, I bet. Depending upon what it's made from. Okay. These are interesting windows here. With the stone windows. For gun ports, I would imagine, too. Huh. Alright, here's another look at it. Yeah. There's even rounded edge pieces like this here, it seems. That's really cool. So, yeah, interesting design to the front there. Okay. Now this is an interesting shot here, too, because look at these archways here. What in the world is this? These columns and these archways here. They have lights on them and flags. So I don't know what that's about. Another thing that's interesting is that if you look... I don't know what this... There's a fountain there. So you can create fountains, which is kind of nice. I don't know if they have shrubbery and things like that that you can just plant down for looks or not. I don't know, but... And up here, he built this pedestal for the fire pit. I mean, not fire pit, but the bonfire. That's what I'm trying to say. Bonfire. And also what's interesting is if you look at these stairs here, how he built like these rounded stairs leading up to his pirate lighthouse palace thing that he's got going on there. I haven't seen anything dealing with farming yet. I haven't seen any windmills or anything quite like that. What is also interesting is if you look out here towards the little pier they made with the ship, you can see there's a little camp here. You see these tents, and these are different kinds of tents. Some of these I've seen, some of them I haven't seen, around a fire here. And so it's like a little encampment. I don't know if that's an individual piece, if that's one big thing that you plop down or what, I don't know. And then, of course, we look at the ship that's off in the distance. That's a lot bigger ship. That's a 3-mast ship. That's a huge ship right there. It's painted red, and it definitely has gun ports. I can't make out much detail about the ship itself. Those are 12-pounders. Blackbeard Interceptor. Okay. And here he's firing the 12-pounders again. I don't know what the heck that was. And then we have a giant flower. Okay. A giant flower insect creature thing of a bobber. Okay. That's interesting. Interesting. What was going on here? This guy was being lifted up by something. Israel hands? I don't know what that is. So, again, it's a teaser. It's not giving us everything. But just by breaking it down and looking at it, I can already see a lot of new stuff. And it looks very exciting. And I can't wait. So, check out their Discord. And keep an eye out for this on the 14th. Is the early access date? Yeah, the 14th. So, yeah, I will be playing it. So, come back to the channel if you want to see it in grave detail. In all its glory. Until then, I'll see you next time. You guys have a good day.